One of the most common pieces of feedback I get when I do cases with people or people listen to my podcast is they say, we can really see how excited you are about management consulting. You have this intensity. You love talking about these things. Your voice rises, your voice drops at certain times. You have a lot of energy for it. And the fact is, I do have a lot of energy for it. I'm sitting at the moment on my balcony in my hotel. I don't know if you can hear traffic. I hope you can't hear traffic. It's pretty high up. I'm watching the South Korean business community return home after the very difficult Thursday. And, I enjoy what I do, which is why I do it. And when you bring energy to something and enthusiasm, people can hear it. They can hear it in the way you speak. They can hear it in the pitch of your voice, the tone of your voice, the way you control the conversation to prove a point, the way you pause at certain areas to let a point sink in, and the way you get excited and animated as you go through things, right? Now, what I always tell candidates is that you are always going to face interviewers that you cannot have prepared for, right? You can face me on a bad day, and if you face me on a bad day, you know that I can really cut through to the point of what a mistake is and what a mistake is not. And unless you know me well enough, you think I'm attacking you, but I'm actually attacking the point. If you meet me on a good day, which is 90% of the time, maybe 95% of the time, especially after I have Lipton tea, I'm bubbly, enthusiastic, energetic, right? Now, the problem you have if you don't bring energy to the call or the interview is that you are relying on the interviewer's mood to dictate the mood of the call, and that is dangerous. Imagine I'm in a bad mood and you're interviewing with me to join BCG or whatever, right? If you let me set the mood, it's going to be a somber, horrible experience where I'm just going to say, I'm going to ask a few questions, and that's going to be the end of it, right? In fact, if you let me set the mood, that means you are following my mood. You are mirroring my mood. If my mood is somber, what do you think is going to be the mood of the interview? Really somber, right? Never, ever let the person you are talking to set the mood. I cannot stress this enough. I always compliment candidates who can laugh their way through things. I remember telling one candidate, that's the most stupid thing I've ever heard. And he just started laughing. And he thought I was going to be upset. And I said, you know what? If you can do that, that is really amazing, because obviously you shouldn't start laughing at the interviewer. But if you can take criticism like that and put it into context and not get all frozen and start, stuttering and so on, that's amazing. You bring in the right energy. And as soon as he starts laughing, he lightens the mood. And after a while of looking at his behavior and the way he cracks jokes, any stressful, even if he's in a stressful situation, he makes it lighthearted. If I ask him a difficult, pointed question, he doesn't make it stressful. He kind of handles it in a nice, polite way. After a while, I start mimicking his behavior as the interviewer. And if I start mimicking his positive energy, what's going to happen to the interview? It's going to be positive. And I always tell candidates, if you go in there expecting that the call's going to go well, you're dead. People always go into a Bain interview and say, wow, the energy was so positive. No, it wasn't positive. Bain style, is to create this really amazing experience. So when they do failure, it goes down well. The point is, do not abdicate the energy you bring to a call to the person with whom you are interviewing. Don't do that. If you do that, you're really setting yourself up for failure. Be the person who brings the energy. Be the person who is going to inject some of their personality into that call or that interview, right? That's a very important point. I stress this with my candidates all the time. I even tell it to my corporate clients, right? So what we're dealing with, I'm not going to give away too much details, but we're dealing with the chief operating officer of a significant steel entity in South Korea, and he wants to introduce a program to basically find more innovative ways to do simple things. So we're helping him think through how to do that. We obviously don't do it for him. We teach him how to do it, and then he has to go ahead and implement that with his team. But I was telling him the same thing. I've observed you. I've asked him to, video one of the sessions that he does with his group. You go into a meeting and you kind of abdicate responsibility to your second in command. They set the tone, and this tone is not good. Everyone who's spoken to you in person knows you're this amazing guy who's really bubbly. You listen to people, but when you go into a public setting, you kind of suck out the energy out of a room. You don't bring your personality. When you speak to people, that video is going to be played across the organization. You need to bring the personality to the organization. 25,000 people are going to watch that video. Okay, let's assume all employees watch it. Some may not. Let's assume 20,000 people watch it. They need to see who you are. And unless you bring your energy to that discussion, it's never going to work, right? But more than that, if people are feeling down and you bring a down mood, what do you think is going to happen to people? They're going to want to jump off that bridge you built across. So bring energy to a discussion. I cannot employ that enough when people laugh, make jokes. It helps with the tension of an interview, right?